How's it going, everyone? Happy weekend. It is Saturday. Another day, another dollar, as they say, plus or minus from time to time. Hope you're all doing well out there. Got a few topics I want to go over. Short solo stream, packed full of gems and valuetainment. Value with a little bit of entertainment. Everybody's doing good out there. Let me talk to the chat. Number one, Red Squirrel. How's it going, man? Crypto Bindu. Hail, I like the video. Hello to you as well. Welcome, welcome. Crypto Elite, how's it going, man? Like those flames. Intrepid, evening all. Evening to you, Intrepid as well. On this fine, fine day. Gonna mostly rest today. Tried to avoid social media a little bit more and just relax and hang out in real life a little bit, all that fun stuff, and just enjoy the day. Maybe spend some time outdoors as well. But before we get into all that, we should start this off with a little bit more positivity than normal. I don't do hopium. However, this may be the closest thing you get to hopium today, as far as on this show. Always like to follow Martin here. He's got some really cool tweets and covers a lot of interesting things. So on this day, 2021, when the Hex bull market begun, it did 35x in less than 5 months. Oh, man. Those were the days, for sure. Amazing. I did the tweet the other day talking about, let's see, let me get my Twitter. Hopefully I put it in the highlights. I did sort of a timeline of the different years. Let's see, I'm going to have to search for it for a minute. Let's see, Maximus 2020, 2021. Yeah, this one. If you look back in 2026 and saw Hex actually played out like this, would you think, yeah, that's reasonable? Launch, price sideways. Yeah, and price was up a lot, 2020 as well. But really in 2020 up, we're talking about the 35x here in less than 5 months. Really big catalyst, just straight up there. Look at that, 50 cents. Yeah, from around 1 cent to around 50 cents. Amazing, cent and a half or so. And then 2022, price down. 2023, staking migration to PulseChain in some form, however you want to interpret that. And then again, hopefully, again, no expectations, no advice, but would it be reasonable if 2024 we saw price up? And then 2025, glory, store value, all the narrative, all the good stuff, all the things like people like about Hex and true DeFi. And 2026, yeah, we shall see. That would be pretty cool. I like this comment too from, was this based BTC? Now, what was the absolutely massive catalyst that we don't have now? Maybe it's the Pulse hype before the proposed SAC phase. Yeah, that was during the time. So 2021, what do we have? I think it was mid 2021. We had PulseChain. I feel like it was summer. Is that summer 2021? Yeah, because 2022 was the supposed to be the original launch, or the supposed mid-May, and then we launched mid-May 2023. So 2021 definitely, yeah, a lot of that could be. I mean, just look at these green candles too. Was that the Godwell green candle? Would that go from? Is that the 1 cent up to? Looks like around 6 cents, 7 cents or so, and then just beautiful, just build up on it here. I mean, this chart is just, at least this portion of the chart, fantastic, and just sort of staircased up through there as well. So we had, so a lot of sacking in 2021. And then what is it, early 2022? Was it, I want to say January? Was the PulseX sacrifice around there? December, January. I feel like just right after the new year, I believe. 2022, PulseX sac. And that's when Hex was still in the 20 cent range, I believe, somewhere through there. Good times. Very, very cool stuff. So that's fun to, look at, remember. Again, will it happen again? On this day, 2021. Wow. If we get a repeat or a rhyming of that. That'd be pretty cool. I enjoy that indeed. Just a minute, get to chat, and we'll move on. Yeah, also, all right, what's up, chat? Lewis X, how's it going? I like this. I like those Hex sunglasses. Umberto's here. How's it going, man? Eskimo Spider, how's it going? You're not going deep. I'm gonna get back in PLS. Invisible Cloak Productions. Welcome, welcome. Crypto Zadi, what's up, RH? How's it going, man? All right, I want to talk about this. We talked a little bit about, I guess a lot about LP in the last week or so too. I've had Sloth on, Neil and Crispy talking about LP and otherwise too. And I thought this tweet from Hexicus Maximus was interesting. So I wonder how when someone will create a DEX automatically shifts a market sell or market buy into an LP position with a tight range near the market price with the range position adjusted based on initiator's tolerance and delay for slippage. And it struck me as just thinking more about, again, not market selling, market buying, using LP to get better prices, B3, different strategies, stuff like that too, and the way people, approach it. And then I also mentioned the Uniswap gasless swaps. And that's something that I wanted to look up. So let's go to Perplexity, a replacement for Google, AI, goodness stuff. And just ask it too, if there's some similarity here. Because I'm curious myself. So instead of literally Googling for gasless transactions, Uniswap, gasless swaps, how they work, using Perplexity, has AI built in. It'll search the web, find articles, use AI to kind of give you a good answer on it. So let's see what it comes up with. Gasless transactions on Uniswap, the DEX supports such features, alleviates burning gas fees for users. Not truly gasless in the sense that gas is still used, rather the cost is handled differently to improve user experience. So generally how they work. So meta transactions perform transactions without having necessary ETH for gas in the wallet. It's a third party known as a relayer. Yeah, so this is the relayer. What's the model? Relayer, and because I was reading about this earlier too. Let's see. Sure, we'll get more into it. So relayer pays the gas fee on behalf of the user. User signs transaction with the private key signatures. User authorizes the transaction. So I think I've heard some people compare it to, basically compare it to limit orders. Sort of, I think there's some analogy there with that. The relayer then submits the signed transaction to blockchain. Pay attention, paying the necessary gas fees. I'm gonna try this out. Actually, I haven't tried it out. Not that I use Uniswap very much these days. Because PulseChain.com, but beneficial user onboarding interaction by removing the initial barrier of needing ETH for gas. Yeah, it's crazy. Don't need to tell you guys about trying to end a stake or just trying to do a transaction. Ethereum in general. PulseChain solves this a lot of ways. So let's see, practical implementations. So introduce features like Permit 2, allows for gasless token approvals, enables user approved tokens for trading Uniswap without paying gas fees each time approval is needed. Approval is done via signature. Once it's done, it doesn't require a new transaction, even if the router is updated, unless the approval expires or it's revoked. So to talk about relayers, yeah. It's absorbed by service providers, relayers with DEX itself, or deferred through mechanisms like meta transactions. Pretty interesting. So 2 ways not to do, I guess, the gasless transactions you can use to save on gas fees. Maybe PulseChain will get them. Maybe Airdexes will, or otherwise at some point. And then you have just not hurting the price or not eating slippage by strategically placing LP as well. So a couple different concepts in that. Again, we talked about different ways. Sure, we'll be talking about in the future too, different ways of doing that. But it is literally the way, especially if a lot of new tokens, yeah, I don't want to go into, just watch the stream with Crispy and Neil and stuff, but it's basically when a token gets so big, there's so much liquidity. That's one of the benefits of being able to, buy and sell a lot. Even in Hex's day, in the heyday there, you could sell. I just posted a clip of where I clipped. If I posted it yet, I'm not sure if I posted it yet, but I clipped Richard talking about how you could sell $1 million worth of Hex and 2.5% slippage or something like that. And about the same on the other side, buying it and selling it. So at that point, yeah, you could say maybe the prices ran up a lot. But when something is early or doesn't have a lot of liquidity, there's, one of the points in that too is the, if you do a market sale and you empty out the pool, then not only does, that hurt the price, but it also takes out a lot of the ability for other people to get their transactions through without eating slippage or even at all being able to take, the other side out of the pool. So interesting to see how LP can just like help you, I used to call it silently sell, or I guess silently buy as well. It's like one way of explaining it, but it's key. So two different mechanisms people use LP for. Primarily one, making fees, earning money. You got to watch out for permanent loss, all the stuff we talked about before, but also just being able to buy or sell a coin effectively by, participating in a pool, setting up a position, and over time, based on the trades and stuff happening, being able to pull at a time where you have more of one coin than the other. So that's two things they're very, very useful for. But again, you got to know what you're doing, figure that stuff out. Again, I got a lot of content stuff on the channel for it too, and a lot of people in the community that know how to do it properly. But yeah, you can. It's definitely advanced for some of the users. But yeah, that's DeFi. So gasless trend. Yeah, I got to try that out myself. Pretty interesting. All right. Let's move on. Get to some of the interesting RH tweet here in a minute, but let's start with, it's a tweet I had the other day as well. I'll put it in the chat. Do you think the PulseChain, PulseX devs have been twiddling their thumbs for almost a year now? Or some glorious stuff ahead for the chain when ready? So this is one of the things I referenced here was the RH tweet, and this is the one I've talked about a few times. I don't think it's very well known, but a list of things that the devs or otherwise were talking about or thinking of doing and stuff a couple years ago or so. Pretty interesting list. I got a bunch of content going through it and stuff in RHMax 2024 new stuff. You got 2 streams talking about different speculation and commentary on this list and going through it. But pretty cool list. So that's some of the stuff can give you a clue of, hey, what's, he talks about aggregator and stablecoins and swap v3 and all that stuff too. So pretty cool list. And then of course there's a couple tweets that were very informative from Hocus Pocus Fi, the account there. Somebody on testnet was testing privacy pools 2 months ago. Same address which deployed PulseX. So Zero Knowledge Privacy Tech also did a stream on this as well. You can type that in on the privacy pools, RHMax privacy pools, to check that out. But that seems like, who knows, maybe that's some devs testing some stuff around privacy pools as well. And then very interesting one here too. Same person deployed PulseX on PulseChain testnet v4 again. Just we're alluding to devs and stuff. Also forked the PancakeSwap stable swap contracts, and also did a stream on that talking about could stable swaps be integrated into PulseX? Could this be another product? Could this feature be come into PulseChain as part of the blue chips type stuff? A lot of people will use PHUX, which is the balancer fork for better order execution for stablecoins and stuff. Could this be one of the things that makes PulseX better in the future? Is RH preparing something for PulseChain anniversary? That's going to be interesting too. Will we see something big happen around the 1 year anniversary, which is coming up in a couple weeks, or right after? Is that game time? When is game time, Dev? When is game time? I think it's what a lot of people are wondering too. And I guess you could say January was some sort of game time because price went up. Did a few X's from there as well, but that's another thing. So I don't think so. I don't, and I'll pull up this tweet as well that kind of talks about it. So I did a poll the other day. What do you think for the past 11 months PulseChain devs have been working on aside from the numerous regular updates? So I think like every month or so, either Richard tweets or we see some kind of update either with PulseX, with the bridge. We had the IPFS stuff that happened. New releases here and there. I do some analysis and stuff on some of the different versions and things too. If you go to Real DeFi and click verify hash, not only can you verify the hashes of the gateways and stuff here, but you can see versions 1.0.3 for hex. So if you would think that if we started at version 1, for example, you can see there's been 2 or 3 updates from that. The bridge version 1.0.7, usually increment the last number when you're doing updates and they keep track of it. Launchpad 103, scan 106, PulseX 106. We've had different upgrades like auto router updates. They did some different, maybe had better integration with coins or something too on the last one. Like this one, the recent ones that happened early this month or so. And then ETHX 103. So you can see the ones that have been worked on the most updates has been the bridge, the block explorer, scan, and PulseX, which makes sense. Those are you could say those are the priorities as well. Matt, game time won't be until ETH goes up substantially. That's actually a good point. So I think there's different levels of game time though too. Of course, if you believe the SAC address, making a bet on ETH and PulseChain leverage on ETH, there's that play as well. But we've also seen buys and stuff happen from SAC address and stuff that have been from, there's plenty of wallets and money and wells and funds and stuff going around for different things like that. There could be different onboarding tactics as well. When do we see Richard start tweeting about more, of the copy farms or the P token farms? When they get added back? When do we get Pepe farms back or Rat Bitcoin farms or otherwise? So there could be different levels of this. It's not, I guess when I say game time, it's more of like, when is there something, another catalyst, again, we had January whales buying and stuff back then, had a couple months of, pretty interesting activity on the chain. When will the price just go straight up and to the right, or any event that could lead to something like that? That may be something more directly tied to ETH and the value of that and what happens with, those funds and stuff too. But I don't know. I could see there being different layers, different levels, and different complementary pieces. Because again, if we go back to, what have the devs been doing and stuff? If you believe PulseX upgrades, limit orders, single size staking, all this stuff. If you think they could be strategically timed and rolled out and being used, kind of not only marketed but used as these hits of events that just keep either pushing the price up or onboarding new people or just making it exciting and keeping the rhythm and onward momentum of the chain going up, there could be a lot of different things. ETH going up could just be one of them, and that could be something later in the year. We could have other stuff leading up to that. Hard to say. It could happen earlier. I don't know. I mean, ETH ETF, we're kind of waiting around to see what happens with that. PulseX upgrades. What if we get some stable swap stuff? What if we get privacy stuff? What if Rich starts streaming again? What if we just get some exchange listings? I mean, there's a lot of different things that could kick off these little mini catalysts and stuff which could lead up to an eventual game. So yeah, it's almost like the journey. I hope the journey is very exciting and not just the destination. Like hopefully it's we're able to enjoy it along the way. There's like little things that will be pretty cool. So yeah, good to point that out as well. CryptoZaddy. First question, do you know what the bots are available for PLS similar to bot for Solana? I have no idea. I've not did a lot of research into different bots for purposes and stuff like that either. So I'm not sure. Pineapple 888, what's pumping? I don't know. I have not checked the prices today. I try not to do that. To try not to check the prices too often. If something interesting is happening, usually I hear about it on Twitter. I'm like, maybe I'll take a look. But not too interested in that lately. Just talking about all the fun stuff that we got going on and fun potential as well. What's up, Marcus? How's it going? All right, going to move on to the last bit that we'll talk about. And I came across this, again, Storyteller. It's got a lot of good tweets. And funny enough, I wanted to talk about this one because this is Richard's favorite quote. I think he's talked about that before and all that. But nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan "Press On" has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. So I thought that was interesting in and of itself, just to kind of talk about, again, people, how long do we have to wait? Waiting for a long time, been delaying gratification, all this stuff. Talked about the other day with Kong, Crypto Kong. When you're in the disbelief phase, do you know you're in the disbelief phase? Or do you just think that, or you just see that and think, is everyone else in disbelief phase? Interesting to like zoom out and have the perspective of, okay, are we all in disbelief? Or are we all just kind of, waiting on something to happen that is so amazing? It's just taking a while and no one can control it, and we don't know when it is, but we believe it's unreasonable that not just our ecosystem, but a lot of other ecosystems that haven't just had upward momentum and just carried it on up to some sort of glorious top or otherwise. Why wouldn't it happen, right? So I think these kinds of phrases, ways of thinking, mindset and stuff is pretty cool. And definitely having a founder who shares that as, again, what if I remember correctly, is his one of his favorite quote, at least one of his favorite quotes, is it's pretty telling about how we are not alone, that sort of thing. You can kind of allude that in other tweets as well, as far as wanting the glory. But then I scrolled up, and I talked about this before. Sometimes Richard goes on a tweet storm. I'll read it. I'll either get it, not get it, whatever. Maybe I'll come back to it later. That's when I scrolled up and I read it again. And when I read it again, it felt like he was saying something a little more than what I saw the first time. So the tweet is, everyone wants to make viral content, but it seems that what goes viral is nearly random. And many successes are just from staying at it so long. You can go back and watch old videos back when Joe Rogan had no viewers and was promoting his first sponsor, Fleshlight. Keep doing good things. Now, when I read that again, I think, and many successes are just from staying at it so long. Little clues here. I mean, he's had plenty of tweets have been like, hang in there. Things are going okay. Staying with things long enough tends to be rewarding. Like all kinds of different things you can read from it, either directly saying it or alluding to it or otherwise. And then keep doing good things. I don't know, just something about this. There's these, if you read between the lines of these tweets, to me, it just seems like he just keeps saying, hey, stick with it. It'll be worth it. Like that's my translation. He's not directly saying that. Again, I think he goes out of his way to make any promises or expectations. So I think having, you could make a clear case. He kind of has to talk in a way that doesn't directly tell us a lot of things. So if I were to take an interpretation like that, it definitely seems that way of like, all right, keep doing good things. Anyways, thought that was interesting. And I encourage everyone to, if you see something, if you see a tweet, especially from RH, for example, that don't quite understand at the moment, or it annoys you even, or you're just like, okay, I don't want to think about this right now, whatever. If you come back to it and read it again, or see other people comment on it and maybe get their take, or otherwise, like, this is one I probably wouldn't even looked at it again anytime soon if I hadn't saw, other comments on it and then read it again. I'm like, man, it really seems like he's saying we good, that type of thing. So there you go. Maybe that's one translation too. Good things come to those who wait. It's almost like delayed gratification tends to work every other time. I personally don't believe this time is different. I'll say that. So that's all I got for you today. Hope that was interesting. Got some insight or things to think about and be positive about in the ecosystem. Plenty of cool stuff. I could go over the stats. I could pull up Apex. I could pull up, whatever. I could get people on here to talk about the charts and TA. I have Axis coming on, I believe Tuesday, to talk about that and talk about game theory and mechanics and all that stuff. But sometimes, it's just beneficial, at least for me, to go back and think about, the bigger picture. And I'm excited about this ecosystem. Haven't seen anything to be less excited about. Haven't seen anything where it becomes more. It doesn't make the case that we will win. So, anyways, hope you got some value from that. That's all I got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.